The revenge has started. Moscow has stated in clear terms that the killer drones which hit the Kremlin on the 3rd of May were sent to assassinate the Russian president. And Moscow's answer is raining from the skies in the form of missiles and drones. Dmitry Medvedev could not have been more blunt. He said, and I'm quoting, "After today's terrorist attack, there are no options left aside the physical elimination of Zelensky and his cabal." Medvedev is the former president of Russia. Russian drones and missiles rained on Ukraine early this morning, and the targets included Kyiv and the port city of Odessa. Ukraine claims it foiled the attack and downed 14 of the 18 Russian kamikaze drones. The air defense managed to destroy 12. 3 of the drones struck a university campus, but there were no casualties. Each missile is a signal. Ukraine claims it never sent the drones. Late last night, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky tried diffusing tensions. He said, and I'm quoting, "We don't attack Putin or Moscow. We fight on our territory. We are defending our villages and cities." Well, if Ukraine did not send the drones, then who did? Because the whole theory of the false flag attack does not quite seem to add up. And I will tell you why. Number one, why would the Kremlin show the world that the security of the heavily guarded fortress can be easily breached? That the Kremlin is not so safe after all? Would Putin allow for such a messaging? I really don't think so. Point number two being, why does Russia even need a false flag attack? It is already at war with Ukraine. It is already taking what it wants. Does it really need to justify any further escalation on the ground? Think about it. While much happens that cannot be fully deciphered in the fog of war, like I said, it does not quite add up. And how do you explain this? What you are looking at is smoke rising over an oil refinery. A Russian oil refinery. It is located in the Krasnodar region. Russia claims that parts of an oil products reservoir at this refinery was set ablaze by a drone. And this happened earlier today. Yesterday, another Russian fuel depot had caught fire. Are we seeing what may be called sparks of Ukraine's spring offensive? If Yevgeny Prigozhin, the Wagner chief, is to be believed, then the counteroffensive has already started. Prigozhin saying that his forces are seeing heightened activity along the front. And then you have Zelensky saying that the counteroffensive will be launched soon, without saying that maybe at some level the attacks have already started. The signs are there for everyone to see.
We all want to see different Vladimir here in The Hague. The one who deserves to be sentenced for these criminal actions right here in the capital of the international law.
Now here's a question. Could Kyiv have single-handedly orchestrated the assassination attempt? No, claims the Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov. And earlier today, Peskov told the reporters that Washington should be aware that the Kremlin knows it is selecting the targets and Ukraine is merely implementing the American plans.
Такие попытки от этого откреститься и в Киеве, и в Вашингтоне, они, конечно, смехотворны абсолютно. Мы хорошо знаем, что решение о таких действиях, о таких терактах принимается не в Киеве, а именно в Вашингтоне.
This is something Russia has been hinting at ever since the war started. The White House does not like this thought, and there is growing evidence that Washington does not fully approve of what Kyiv is doing or of the brinkmanship that Ukraine's intelligence agencies may be indulging in.
Since the beginning of this conflict, the United States is certainly not encouraging, enabling Ukraine to strike beyond its borders. We've been very clear from here about that.
This does not mean that America or the NATO are shying away from accusing Russia of playing its own underhand or undersea games. Speaking of which, NATO is trying to shift attention away from what happened in the Kremlin and point instead at the pipelines underwater. NATO claims that Russia may have mined critical underwater infrastructure. You know, the likes of energy pipelines, underwater cables. NATO claiming that business worth $10 trillion is carried out through these underwater pipes and cables every day. And now Moscow could be trying to think of ways to blow up these cables. Let me just read out what the NATO's intelligence chief, David Kattler, has said. There are heightened concerns that Russia may target undersea cables and other critical infrastructure in an effort to disrupt Western life, to gain leverage against those countries that are providing security to Ukraine. One thing is clear, the war that appeared to have hit a stalemate appears to have flared up once again. And what happens next is anybody's guess. But let me leave you with a fact here. Earlier today, President Zelensky went to The Hague to address the International Criminal Court. He was given unprecedented security. And what does that tell us? That the danger levels of the Ukraine war have become personal. WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the updates on the move.